Imagine this. What if you could take a pill and become the best in the world at what you do? Today, we're diving deep into the shadowy world of performance-enhancing drugs, where that line between being a champion and a cheater is incredibly thin. Okay, let's just start with a number. 68. Now, that's not just some random statistic. That's 68 athletes, 68 careers and dreams completely derailed by a massive doping scandal at the Rio Olympics. It just goes to show you how big this problem really is. So, what are we really talking about when we say doping? Well, think of it like hacking your own body. It's using chemistry to get an edge that pure hard work just can't give you. And that creates a totally uneven playing field. And that right there is the heart of the issue. This unfair advantage, it isn't just about winning or losing. It's about whether we can even believe in the idea of fair competition anymore. You know, sports are supposed to be the ultimate test of what we can do through sheer grit and dedication. But doping, it just throws all of that right out the window. It's like deciding to take a chemical elevator straight to the top while everyone else is still taking the stairs. So, what's actually in this chemical arsenal? Let's take a look at the main tools that some athletes use to try and cheat the system. To help break this all down, there's a simple and honestly a very fitting acronym to remember the four big categories: BADS, B-A-D-S. First up, we've got B for beta blockers. Now, these are not your typical muscle builders. Nope. Think of them more like a biological calm down button. So beta blockers work by literally blocking adrenaline, that fight or flight response. This is why you see them in sports where a super steady hand is everything. We're talking archery, maybe even competitive gaming. But forcing your body to be that calm comes at a cost, putting a ton of strain on your heart. All right, so from the subtle to the absolute sledgehammer, let's move on to A for anabolic steroids. Yeah, these are probably the ones you've heard the most about. Anabolic steroids basically put your muscle growth and repair into hyperdrive. This means an athlete can train way beyond their natural limits, day in and day out. It's an incredibly powerful temptation, especially in strength sports. But the side effects, they're just as powerful, and they can wreak havoc on everything from your heart to your mental state. Next up in BADS, we have D for diuretics. Now, these drugs are a little sneaky. They kind of play a double game in the doping world, and one of those roles is all about deception. Diuretics serve a pretty sinister dual purpose. So on one hand, they help athletes shed water weight really fast, a common trick in sports with weight classes, like boxing. But their real value to someone doping is as a masking agent. They flush out the system, diluting a urine sample to try and hide the evidence of other, more potent drugs. It's a dangerous game of hide-and-seek that can absolutely destroy your kidneys. And that brings us to our last letter, S for stimulants. These are the drugs that promise to turn on all the lights in your brain and turn off the pain. So stimulants just supercharge your entire central nervous system. They boost your focus, your energy, and, this is the big one, they numb your body's feeling of pain and exhaustion. This lets an athlete push way past their natural breaking point. But when you silence your body's own alarm bells like that, you're opening the door to devastating injuries, addiction, and even strokes. Which brings us to the most human question in this whole mess. After hearing all those dangers, why on earth would anyone take that risk? It's really the ultimate paradox, isn't it? Athletes spend their whole lives perfecting their bodies, only to pump them full of things that could destroy them. So with your health, your legacy, your entire reputation on the line, what could possibly be worth it? First, let's be really clear about what happens when you get caught. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. It's basically erasure. Your medals get taken away, your records are voided, and your name becomes a cautionary tale. It is a complete public dismantling of everything you've ever worked for. And yet, they still take the chance. Why? Because from their point of view, the potential rewards can seem to outweigh those massive risks. We're talking millions of dollars in prize money and sponsorships, becoming a national hero, securing a legacy. When the pressure is that intense and the glory is that close, some athletes convince themselves it's a risk they have to take. But athletes aren't just operating on their own. There is a global organization out there whose entire job is to police this high-stakes game. That organization is the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, as you'll often hear it called. They are, for all intents and purposes, the global referee in this fight.
They set the rules, they run the tests, and they try to keep the game clean for everyone.
And WADA's process is almost like a forensic investigation. It starts with a surprise test. Any athlete, anytime. They take 2 sealed samples, an A and a B. Sample A gets sent to the lab. If it comes back positive for a banned substance, the athlete is notified. And then sample B is tested to confirm the result. If both samples tell the same story, well, the verdict is in and the consequences are coming.
So, where does all of this leave us? Is the fight actually being won? The reality is, it's a constant, ongoing battle for the very future of fair competition. Ultimately, the fight against doping is a scientific arms race. For every new designer drug or gene editing technique that gets cooked up in some secret lab, there's a team of scientists at WADA working around the clock to create a test that can catch it. It's a never-ending, high-stakes battle between cheating and detection. And that leaves us with a question that goes way beyond just sports. As science unlocks more and more ways to fundamentally change human biology, how do we even define what's fair? Where do we draw the line between enhancement and cheating? The answer to that is going to shape not just the future of sports, but maybe our very understanding of human potential itself.